Yeah.
Welcome in. It is time to cook. Hey Peaches. What's up, Palooza? Little holiday emotes. How's everyone doing? I know it's been a whole 15 hours since you last saw me. Unless you didn't make it to yesterday's stream. Made an awesome Thai style grilled flank steak. Hi Dust, right on time. I'm just gonna get a little band-aid on my finger. I got a boo-boo at work this week and I wanna get that covered up. I think we'll be using some acidic things and that will hurt. I think I pulled out probably like 200 or 300 staples and it wore my finger off of the little grabber tool. Yeah, I had to pull out all these staples before we could put the drywall back up. Literally wore my finger off. Like, you know when, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but when you're using scissors a lot and you get like a blister on one of your knuckles, that's what happened to me. All of a sudden I was just like, my finger is like burning. I'm like, what's going on? Look down, there's just like an open wound. I was like, oh, that's what's happening. Nike, how are you? You loved yesterday's stream. Oh, welcome back then. I'm glad you came back. Nike, my dude, guess what? We are decarboxylating right now in the circulator. So I'm thinking maybe next weekend or for Super Bowl. Nike, we'll do both of your requests in one day. Canna rolls and Super Bowl foods. Howdy, Trey. What's going on? How was the week? You're forced to work on Super Bowl? No! Oh no, dude, I'm so sad. Do you need me to phone your work on that day? I'll phone from Canada. I'll do a long distance call. Oh, due to your promotion. You always get the good with the bad, don't ya? Hey, Scoos. How are you? Feeling pretty refreshed today, guys. Feel like I have a lot more energy than yesterday's stream. Nice sleep always helps. Yeah, guess what, Dust? So yesterday we got home from work. This was like before we even streamed even. I was like, Sam, we forgot to get the shellfish. I was like, no. And so Sammy went this morning. He left me sleeping in bed and he went and got the clams for us. Nice and fresh. So thanks, Sammy. Very thoughtful, yet he's so nice. Is that straight vodka? Well, I mean, it is Saturday. How else do you think I have so much energy? Becoming one with the couch. Oh my gosh. That'll be me later. That'll be me later. I'll put in some work right now with you guys. We'll cook up some awesome, delicious food. And then I will slowly fall into my food coma and become one with the couch. Sounds like a great plan, Scoos. All right, so Cioppino. This is Dust Pirate's wonderful request, or let's say maybe a redemption even, from one of his St. Jude charity donations. So one of the rewards we had way back in November for a $20 donation was a meal request, and Dust finally thought of his. I think it is a wonderful request. You guys know that I love to cook basically anything at home, even if I've never cooked it before. So yes, I have never cooked Cioppino before. And to be honest, I didn't know it was an Italian-American thing. I thought it was just like straight up Italian. But that is super cool that it originated in San Francisco and you were able to eat it there. So well done, Dust. I hope I can bring this meal some justice. I think we will be just fine. I mean, being out here on the West Coast I've gotten pretty good at cooking seafood and shellfish. And obviously, the shellfish that we're able to get is basically the same that they get farther down south. It's a good winter dish. Yeah, it could be winter, summer, basically whenever, right? Scoozy endorses this idea. Okay, so Dust was able to eat this. I don't know how to say the name of the grill that you went to. Tadich Grill. This is, I believe, the top 3 oldest restaurants in California. Sorry, it is the oldest continuously run restaurant in California and the 3rd oldest in the US. Oh my gosh, even better. They say we prefer to keep it simple, avoid the 6 months out reservation game, and they just walk in. You can just walk in. Okay, so I'm gonna read off of their menu what they do for their Cioppino, or at least let you know what I'm seeing here. I mean, Dust would probably remember too. So they don't have a description. There's definitely shrimp, mussels in there. I know Dust said there was scallops as well. I don't know what kind of fish. And then they serve it with a really nice garlic bread.
Here are your timers.
Crazy stuff going on over there with Sammy. Tadich. Yeah, now we got an itch. Those are pretty perfect bananas. I don't think I could agree more. Donuts. They're great. Yeah, there's quite a few different recipes online for Cioppino. And then you also sent me the one from Jada. So Jada De Laurentiis, the most beautiful Food Network chef ever. Thank you for the follow, I Strip for Donuts.
I would strip for donuts.
Sam says he would strip for donuts, just in case anyone was wondering. Okay, so we do have a couple of recipes linked here on the recipe command. We have the Cioppino as well as the apple crisp, because we had a viewer yesterday, not mentioning any names, that had no idea what apple crisp was. So I am so excited to make that too. Another thing that I always like to do if I'm making something for the first time is just go over kind of where the dish came from, how it's typically prepared, and then we can start cooking once we understand what we're making. I feel like that's very important. Okay, so Cioppino is a fish stew originating in San Francisco, California. It's an Italian-American dish. It's related to various regional fish soups and stews of Italian cuisine. It's traditionally made from catch of the day, which in San Francisco, typically a combination of Dungeness crab. I wish we could get our hands on crab right now. We'll have to make this again at some point, I think, and put crab into it. So crab, clams, shrimp, scallops, squid, mussels, and fish, all sourced from saltwater ocean, in this case, the Pacific. The seafood is then combined with fresh tomatoes in a sort of like herby sauce. Thank you, Dust, for the 37 gift subs. Welcome in, I Strip for Donuts. Welcome to the Onion Squad. The dish can be served with toasted bread, either local sourdough or French bread. Sammy also picked us up a nice little sourdough boule. It's so cute. Little artisan organic sourdough. So we'll make up some garlic butter later, toast those up. Should be yummy. The bread acts as a starch, similar to a pasta, and is dipped into the sauce. I love that. Serving bread with any type of like seafood stew that's how you know the broth is good. When you need more bread to soak up the rest of the broth, you did good. Cioppino was developed in the late 1800s by Italian immigrants who fished off Meigs Wharf and lived in the North Beach neighborhood of San Francisco, many from the port of Genoa. When a fisherman came back empty-handed, they would walk around with a pot to the other fishermen, asking them to chip in whatever they could. Whatever ended up in the pot became their Cioppino. The fishermen that chipped in expected the same treatment if they came back empty-handed in the future. So everyone was taking care of themselves or each other. It later became a staple as Italian restaurants proliferated in San Francisco. It does seem like a kind of a kitchen sink style stew. Yes. I would say that's kind of how most fish stews have been, at least from what I've cooked. Like bouillabaisse is basically the French version of this, and they use catch of the day as well. And yeah, most seafood kind of stew dishes originated from the fishermen that would catch the fish. Hi, White Dove, how are you doing? All right, so educating Australians on apple crisp real quick. Let's say it is a cousin to the apple pie, but it doesn't have a crust on the bottom. And instead of having a crust on the top, you get this like delicious kind of oatmeal streusel thing going on. So it's like really crispy and all these nice little chunks. And then your apples are still tossed with sugar and cinnamon. So it's baked with a topping.
Does an apple crisp not have a pie crust on the bottom though? I think it does. Caitlin does not.
So you grew up with it having a crust on the bottom?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. I never had that. I think that maybe if you have the crust laying around, but in my opinion, apple crisp is like the fast version of apple pie, and it's way less difficult to make. Yeah, it's like a crummy topping. It's so good. Yeah, I've never had a crust on the bottom. Straight up, White Dove. We FaceTime Sam's mom today to check this. At first, she said no, it never has the crust on the bottom. And then Sam like talked her into saying, yeah, maybe sometimes it does. But the first answer was no, so that's what I'm gonna go with. It is a glorious beard. Thank you, Peaches. Thank you. If there isn't a crust on the bottom, Nike's not eating it. Oh my gosh. You can't just back Sam up like that. Don't tell him this. Okay, so does that make sense? I strip for donuts. Apple crisp. We're gonna go back to our Cioppino. We have a little bit more to read here. Gotta divulge a bit further. Pardon me?
What's an apple crumble?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Apple crisp equals apple crumble. If you want a crust on the bottom, make an apple pie. Okay, White Dove. I dropped the spoon.
You heard it here first. That's it.
Fuck a crisp. You guys. So if it's a crumbled top, how is it a crisp? I don't know. The crisp is the crumble. Or is the crumble the crisp?
Oh, man.
Where are our grandparents when we need them? Yeah, Sam, you guys are killing Sam in the background. Stoopkey, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Welcome in to our craziness.
You guys are hurting my
When in doubt, make apple dumplings. Like fried hand pies. We have lots of apples, so
You need a walk for that.
yes, we do need a wok. Aren't crisps supposed to be crunchy? So it will be crunchy on top. No, these are great questions. This is a good challenge. Yeah, real talk does. So the little crumbles of streusel get layered on top of the apples. So it is like dry baked, right? So as it bakes, the butter and sugar and flour harden up and make it crisp. But then it's also crumbly because it falls apart. Oof, Maroon. Exactly, big time, big boy. All right, Cioppino. So the name comes from Cioppin, which is the name of a classic soup from the Italian region of Liguria. Similar in flavor to Cioppino, but with less tomato and using Mediterranean seafood cooked to the point that it falls apart. I think I like the version that we are making better. The earliest printed description of Cioppino is from a 1901 recipe, the San Francisco Call, though the stew is called Cioppini. Interesting. So it was printed first in a newspaper in 1901. Yeah, apple crisp, good with vanilla ice cream, or we're just gonna do like straight up cream on top. So good. You're having a hard time picturing it. Okay, well here is, click on this second link there, the all recipes one, and that's what it looks like. Nothing Americans do makes sense. Hey, I'm Canadian. You would literally get lost. For good measure. For good measure. Yeah, you do have mayo, Chup. Chick-fil-A sauce. Okay, so how do we present the Cioppino? Generally, this seafood is cooked in broth and served in the shell, including the crab, which is often served halved or quartered. I would say if you're gonna use crab in the Cioppino, that is the more difficult version to make because you have to know how to break apart the crab and serve it to your guests if you are gonna serve it to other people. So it's an apple crumble, yes. Apple crumble equals apple crisp. So sometimes Cioppino can require your special utensils like a crab fork and a cracker. Today we won't need that though. Depending on the restaurant, it may be accompanied by a bib to prevent food stains on clothing. I mean, yeah, tomatoey broth, when you're eating seafood, it gets a little bit messy. We need a damp napkin and a second bowl for all the shells, very important. A variation commonly called lazy man's Cioppino is served with shells pre-cracked or removed. I always say when you get shellfish that is already like cracked or even without the shells, that's how you know someone loves you and is like put so much love into that dish. Because that's the hardest part, is getting all the meat out of there. You're a cracker, Nike. Hey, you're not even being dumb, donuts. Nothing that you are saying is dumb. I always say this on the stream. Please never think that your questions are stupid, because this is why this stream exists, is to help teach you guys about all these different foods and dishes. All right, so I'm going to guesstimate. This will probably take us around, an hour to kind of prep. And then because seafood cooks very quickly, it doesn't take a long time to cook. So most of the work is in making the broth. We want a very flavorful broth so that when we cook the seafood in it, the seafood soaks up all that flavor as well. So we don't want to start with a bland broth. So that's the most important part. As long as it tastes good. Yeah, I'm in. Thank you, Elrad. Thank you. Okay, and then our apple crisp. So basic things for that is we have to either slice up or dice up our apples, toss it with cinnamon and sugar, let it marinate for a little bit. That way it can soak up the flavor as well. And then we just have to make the crumble. And then this will bake for, it says about 45 minutes. I would say about half an hour to 45 minutes. So I thought that we could first kind of put the apple crisp together so that when the Cioppino is near being done and we're kind of eating, then we can bake the apple crisp and have it for dessert. Because it is the worst thing. I mean, if we do the Cioppino and then go to make the apple crisp, then we gotta wait like 45 minutes to eat it. And that's the worst thing ever. That's torture. So it's all about timings. Imagine being a pastry chef and not knowing what an apple crisp is. Hey, I made an apple crisp. I put that on one of the menus when we were at the brewery. I used the cider that we made at the brewery in it. So I went like kind of using the cider and the beer in it. And then I used some of the spent grain in the crumble topping. It was super good. And then we served it, instead of ice cream, we served it with a cider sorbetto. Very interesting. Okay, apple crumble crisp, not pie. Let's get our apples. They're just on the other side because we got a big old bag. They were on sale this week. And then we need white sugar, brown sugar, flour, oats, cinnamon, butter. Sounds like a plan, Dust. Wait, would it be interesting if graham crackers were involved in the mixture of topping? Heck yeah. Like graham crackers or digestive cookies. I've never done that, but I'm into it. I am into it. Ooh, we also need the 9x13 pan. So let's get a couple bowls out. We need our 9x13 glass baking pan. We're making a big old pan. Because to me, it just doesn't make sense to make a half batch. This will last for sure. I mean, about a week in the fridge once it's baked. So we can eat it all week. We got dessert for the week. Oats are better. We could try crab fishing, yeah. I know, I wanna get out for another IRL stream again. Should we go crabbing, guys? Bring you guys down to the dock. There's a lot of patience involved in that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing for crabbing is we don't have to go out on a boat. That's why Sam can do it with us. We just whip the pot off of the dock and then you pull it up every 10 minutes and check what's inside. It's actually really fun. We'll bring a little picnic along. Okay, I'm going to grab those apples. Hold down the fort, guys. Here's our apples, BC, fresh, and let's just note, Canada extra fancy. Extra fancy. Yeah, we'll bring a picnic basket. Where do you go crabbing, White Dove? What does this recipe say for our apples? 10 cups of all-purpose apples. Oh, I don't know if these will be okay. These are extra fancy. Peeled, cored, and diced. Okay, let me ask you this. I feel like this is an important question. Do you peel your apples for apple crisp? Because typically I don't. I mean, I like the texture of the skin on in apple crisp. You do. Yeah, excuse me, sir. Are those apples fancy or extra fancy? I know, that's where all the nutrients are. That's how I think of it. And like I said, I just like the texture of the skin on there. Oh man, Nike, you should see the crabs. Like, when you open up the pot, when you bring it out of the water and put it onto the dock, is they know right away to start crawling off back into the water. Like, they will just go straight for it and it'll just be like plunk and they'll fall back in. Used to live in New Jersey and crab there. Sweet. Yeah, maybe the extra fancy apples don't have to be peeled. Crabs are better than lobster. I 100% agree. I think I'm with you, Scoos. Okay, I'll just measure out what I need now. A crab has more meat, maybe?
No.
I don't think so, but they are easier to get the meat out of. Okay, so we need a tablespoon of flour for the apples, and what that will do is just kind of thicken up the juices so that we don't have a super runny apple crisp. And then we need a cup for the streusel. The crab says thanks. That's something I've never done before, is go digging for clams. I've never gone clamming. Okay, Sama. Hi, Weeku. How are you doing? You live in New England. Mostly agree with you, Scoozy, but had a good lobster roll. Only lobster claw meat. Yeah, it's true. Clam digging is not that much fun. Why not? Water with the apples? Place the sliced apples in the pan, mix the sugar, flour, cinnamon together, sprinkle over apples. Pour water evenly over all of it. Half a cup of water. I've never put water in apple crisp. This heck? Walk through the water and dig your toes in the mud. Sometimes step on horseshoe crabs. Ouch! Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. Okay, 10 cups of apples. Should we do 9? 9 apples will equal 10 cups. We also have to remember that the core is going to be coming out, so not all of this is going to be going into it. We'll do 12. These are not huge either. Like, look at this size of apple. Not very big. Yeah, 42 different seafoods are going into this. Thank you. Oh, man. Okay, so let's start by coring all of these. Extra fancy gala apples. The skin is pretty thin on these, and they have a nice crunch to them, so they should hold up really well. Because there are certain apples that you don't want to use for apple crisp. I'd probably say like red and golden delicious would just fall apart. So here's how I core apples. Is I cut along each side of the core and then put on the flat side and do that again. Then we get those little pieces that look like that, and you get a clean core. Oh man, Honeycrisp is, I think, my favorite apple ever, Scoozy. And that would be delicious in here. A little boo-boo on this one. Cut the boo-boos off. Hey Annie, good to see you again. The apples look delish. I know, I kind of want to eat some. Might have to take a little wedge. Super juicy and crisp. think we're actually getting close to 10 cups. Probably don't need all 12 apples. Maybe it is 1 cup of apple per apple. You haven't had apple crisp in forever. Me too, actually. This is something that, I mean, is just in my memory from when we used to go to my mom's house when I was young, is we like almost always had apple crisp for dessert with vanilla ice cream. Because they had this huge apple tree in the backyard. Like, it was definitely overgrown. And then my Guido was just like crazy about not wasting anything. So they would always call us when the apples were ready to come and pick them. And it's like, if my dad even left like 1 apple in the top of the tree, he'd be like, you missed that one. He'd get so mad. Yeah, someone that actually knows what apple crisp. Well, apple crisp equals apple crumble, right? Let's try one. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got you stung by bees? No. I was always scared of the bees when I would pick raspberries at my grandparents because they'd always be flying around in there. Yeah, such an easy dessert to make, right? Okay, so I like to dice my apples instead of slicing them. That way I think they hold up a little bit better. So like 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch dice. Because we have to remember that this will shrink when it cooks. It's gonna release some liquid. I'm gonna cut all these little wedges first. Yeah, healthy. Exactly. Okay, what about baked apples? Anyone in here ever done those? Where you core out the apple, you scoop it all out, and then you fill it with like the butter, sugar, and cinnamon and oats, and then just bake it for like 15 minutes. That's such an easy one. Put the ice cream in there. Oh man. Used to do it in the microwave. Yeah, you can definitely do that in the microwave. Caramel, yes. Yes, Dust. So chewy. Caramel apples. You went apple picking every fall. You always had a lot of apples in storage. We are like on the fence whether we want to keep the apple tree in the backyard. We got it pruned last year, and we think that they kind of messed up pruning it because now 1/2 of it is dead this year. And we just don't think that it gets enough light there, and I think it's got some blight. So I don't know if we're gonna keep the apple tree that we got growing in the back. I think out of any fruit that I could grow where I am, I would love to grow figs. Applesauce, yep. Yeah, applesauce, or you can even like strain out the juice and have pasteurized apple juice. Hey Titan, how's it going? Caramel apple lollipops. That used to be like huge in schools and stuff, hey? I remember those lollies. It's like, you answered the question right. Have a green apple sucker. It's like, heck yeah. Hey, Josie. Yeah. Happy New Year. It's been forever. Oh, that's the other one, White Dove. Is we are able to grow citrus here. Just has to be grown inside for like half the year. But I would love to grow lemons and limes and like little oranges. We can even grow the other like really interesting fruits that can grow here in the climate, especially for Canada, this is crazy, is kiwi and pineapple. Who would have thunk it? Hey, Edgy Rose. Hello, stranger. Things are good, Titan. Whipping up some apple crisp for dessert later. And then we'll be working on lunch. Pineapple. Yep, and it is amazing. Pineapple and kiwi. You think you followed from Donut King? Oh my gosh, I don't even think we've gone to raid him or anything. But I do follow him on Twitch, so welcome in, Edgy Rose. More pineapple Annie. Okay, let's do a quick little measurement here in our bowl. 10 cups-ish. We'll finish up these last couple here. I think this is perfect. Sounds good, Scoos? Also, anyone who has not caffeinated themselves yet today, it is National Irish Coffee Day. Yeah, I already have. Me too, Annie. I mean, is it really ever too late to have another one, though? Extra caffeinated. You can't have coffee. It gives you headaches. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, get the Jameson. Get the Irish whiskey. You're getting a bang. Get it in you, Nike. I know I'm always down for another coffee. I'm always down, but we got no Baileys. All right, next step here for our apples. We're gonna mix a cup of white sugar with our tablespoon of flour and a teaspoon of cinnamon. They only put a teaspoon in here? We might use a little bit more cinnamon. So we're gonna mix that up. And then we'll put that into the Pyrex pan and then you pour like water over it. This is new. I've never done the water thing. Have you guys ever put water into your crumble or crisp? Yeah, I know, Baileys and coffee. So freaking good. Yeah, right? Water and apple crisp. I think we're gonna skip it because I feel like the liquid comes out of the apples when we cook it, right? We don't want this to be super soupy. Crisps. Yeah, apple crumble, apple crisp. Water, no. Yes, butter. Yeah, exactly, Josie. Can we skip the water and just go straight to the butter? Okay, flour. Sugar. It's true, butter does have water in it, so we're good then, Annie. Yeah, brown sugar and white sugar. That's what I like too. But they use the brown sugar in the topping and they use white sugar for the apples. Holy!
Anisoterics gifted a tier 1 sub to K Bolton.
Thanks, Annie.
Anisoterics gifted a tier 1 sub to this is my username.
Welcome in, guys.
Anisoterics gifted a tier 1 sub to Peaches 0219.
Very nice, Annie.
Anisoterics gifted a tier 1 sub to the underscore crimson underscore actor underscore. Anisoterics gifted a tier 1 sub to Shadow
Have to stay ahead of Cookie. Yeah, you came at the right time, Annie. Beat them to it. Thank you so much. Welcome in, new subs. Yeah, please enjoy all those wonderful emotes and the sub badge and ad-free viewing. Can't really get much better than that. Trying to get into this cinnamon. Cinnamon. That's where we're gonna go with. A little bit more than a teaspoon, I would say. And that is okay. Hey, Shadow. Happy to see you. Giving you memories of your mom. Yeah, this is giving me memories of my Baba. Okay, let's mix this up. Flour, sugar, cinnamon. The cinnamon sugar makes me want to make like mini donuts. So much sugar. But mind you, this is gonna be dessert for a week. So when we divide it that way, it's not as bad. She made you sweets when she was stressed. Well, yeah, because dessert spelled backwards is stressed. So this all makes sense. That is good. Okay, 9 by 13 inch Pyrex baking pan. Oh, I think we have a couple extra apples. This is a very large crisp. But let's see once we kind of push it down. Lots of sugar there in the middle. This is a crazy recipe, guys. I feel like there shouldn't be that much sugar. It will reduce, that is true. It will cook down, so I think we'll just leave it there. That is a great note, Annie. Nice, sugar cookies. My family was never really big into sugar cookies. Okay, so for the crumble topping, combine oats, flour, brown sugar, baking powder, baking soda. So a little bit of leavening there as well. And then melted butter. And then we just crumble that evenly over top of this. So we are opting to not put in the half cup of water because I do not want this to be too watery. Here's our flour. We got our oats. One cup of oats as well. I like the chew from the oats. Thanks, Shadow. It already looks good. Just wait till it's baked. Noms. Noms. I don't even remember the last time I used oats in something I was baking. Still need our cup measurement for our brown sugar. Take out our little piece of bread. Keeps it moist. We'll pack the brown sugar into our cup measurement. A cup of flour, a cup of oats, and a cup of brown sugar. No, it's okay, Annie. Why is everyone saying sorry today? I'm the one who's Canadian. You could totally use almond flour. That would probably give such nice crunch. Yeah, you're just trying to be more Canadian. It's rubbing off on you guys. Sorry. Or Annie, what about, you can have buckwheat flour, right? I feel like buckwheat flour could be good here. There goes all the brown sugar, guys. We're cleaned out. You know a Canadian who's very mean? It's perplexing. Yeah, that doesn't happen often. I'm sorry. I'll just say sorry for them. Okay, 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. Very scant amounts. Yeah, you found the only one. And then is there any salt in here? So they don't put salt, but I think I'm gonna put a pinch of salt as well into the topping just because there is so much sugar. I find that baking always tastes better when you add a little bit of salt too. Gotta balance out the sweetness. So it's not like you're gonna taste the dessert and be like, oh wow, that is so salty. You will never think that. If anything, you will think, oh wow, this is way too sweet and I can't eat it. So do like half a teaspoon of salt in here. And then I just have to melt half a cup of butter. What is the white stuff? So 1/4 teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda. Try and fix this little measurement here on our butter. There we go. And then once we have our crumble all together, then we can just pop it in the fridge until we're ready to bake it. And that way all we have to do is put it in the oven about 45 minutes before we want to eat it. It's okay if you don't cook. I'm happy you're here. The most complex thing you've ever cooked is fettuccine alfredo. You know what? I am proud of you because that's probably better than a lot of people. Yeah, fettuccine alfredo, super good. Hi, iShot. How are you? Okay, just using Chef Mike for like 30 seconds. Give this a mix before we pour the butter over it. Break up some of the brown sugar lumps. Yum. Your niece always tries to sneak spoons away. I feel like those are the people, like the kids that are in the kitchen, those are the people that end up being like pretty good cooks when they're older. I don't know, getting that understanding at a young age or like just the interest in food even is a huge thing. It's a lot of butter, yeah. Half a cup. I mean, you should kind of get 8 servings out of this. So half a cup of butter divided over 8 servings, not a ton. So we're gonna mix this until there's no more dry stuff. That's how you make the perfect crumble. And clean off your spoon a couple times too. Yum. kind of just forms its own crumbs. It's pretty perfect. I love when there's like really big lumps on top. So good. Okay, now we can top it. So we just want to evenly spread this out. I like to use my hands, just kind of sprinkle it. And you should be able to completely cover the top, or very close to it. Guys, just imagine how this is gonna smell when we bake it later. These are the types of air fresheners we were talking about. The food smells. I would 100% buy one that was like flavored or scented with apple crisp or apple crumble. There we go. It's okay if you have a couple pieces of apple peeking out from under the crumb. That is it, guys. That is how easy making an apple crumble is. Airwick makes an apple crumble spray. Well, there we have it, folks. There we have it. It is confirmed. Just gonna rinse my hands off. They're all buttery. You bought it before? It smells great. Thank you for the confirmation eye shot. Yeah, nothing wrong with buttery hands until you try and like hold something. And then you got butter fingers. Oh no, got some crumbs trying to escape. Okay, I'm gonna go pop this into the other fridge. I don't have room here, unfortunately. So I'll be back in a couple of seconds. And then we're getting into lunch. We're making up this Cioppino, guys. So hold tight. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna make up a quick prep list for our Cioppino because I haven't made it before. So first, I think we should list all of our fish, just so we don't forget anything because there's quite a few items. Has Sammy ordered his new mic yet? Not yet. We're still waiting for, I think it's the next check for next month that all of those donations will be on it when it comes in, and then we will order it. No, it actually was me at first though, Annie. I totally forgot to unmute it when I came back. But then it must have been you. But it is happening, White Dove, very soon. And then I think we'll just get rid of the Yeti. I don't think we'll need it. Okay, so fish. So we'll have to dice up the salmon and the halibut. Nice bite-sized pieces because the Cioppino is going to be eaten with a spoon, a fork, probably a knife too. So you want to make it pretty easy to eat this. You just bought 60 ounces of silver? Oh my gosh. For what? Okay, shrimp. Up to you whether you want to take the tails off or not. Obviously, it is easier to eat without the tail, but I think since we have the clams anyways, since we have some other shell things in there, you're gonna kind of be eating with your hands. I think it's okay to leave the shrimp tail on. Cioppino is meant as a main meal. So this is like the Italian version of bouillabaisse, Annie, where this was a dish kind of made by the fishermen using the catch of the day. And then restaurants caught onto it, and then it started to get pretty big. So first recipe for this was printed in 1901. Yeah, it is pretty cool. And then our clams. Really the only thing that we got to do with our clams is just give them a good rinse under cold water, because like White Dove was saying earlier, is they are in sand. So clams are super sandy. And if we don't rinse them enough, then you're gonna have sand in your broth, and that is, I think 100% the worst mouthfeel ever. Like sand or dirt is the worst thing in food. Like, I think that's worse than maybe biting down on an eggshell or anything else, or even finding like a hair in your food. To me, sand is the worst. Like what a turn off, like gritting in your teeth. So let's not do that. Okay, our broth. For you, the worst is mold. Oh, you know what? That's true. Okay, either like sand, dirt, or mold. Because when you have the mold flavor in your mouth, that's like hard to get out, hey? I think blue cheese is good. I mean, if the food is meant to taste like that, then yes. But if it's like you find like a piece of mold on your bread or something and you're just like, oh my God, it's just such a weird flavor in the mouth. It's like mothballs. Yeah, sand in the butt crack. Oh man. Okay, so Jada, here's what she does. Obviously, she's using olive oil. And then she infuses her broth with fennel, onion, shallot, garlic. She spices it up a little bit even, so she throws in some chili flakes. And then you can use diced tomatoes or paste, whatever you want. Up to you whether you want to put wine into it. I have a really nice bottle. Actually, sorry, no, I don't have a nice bottle of wine. So I don't have any white wine. And I'm okay with that. This is like, let's call this the budget version of Cioppino. And then she also uses a little bit of fish stock. I don't have any fish broth here. So why don't we just mix up a little bit of some vegetable bouillon instead for some extra flavor. I don't think we should go with chicken broth here because it might overpower the delicate fish flavor. So if you don't have fish stock, go with vegetable instead. And then lastly, a bay leaf. So we need some canned tomato. And then our aromatics, fennel, onion, shallot, garlic, chilies. Very simple. Any clam juice. Oh man, that would be a good substitute. I don't have any clam juice in the house, but we're gonna get juice off the clams when they cook in the broth. So that's where we should get some extra flavor from. I guess that's a good thing we got the fresh clams, because I find that they do release quite a bit of liquid when we cook them. All right, garlic. Fennel. Actually, a very nice bulb of fennel. Onion, shallot, bay leaf, stay. Spices are popping. You've never used fresh fennel before? Only fennel seed. I love fresh fennel. Like, I love snacking on it raw even. That's some differing size there in our bay leaves. Fresh fennel is super delicious. And it's also said to help with digestion. I remember, well, the first time when I was in Italy, I think I was like 17 years old. We were there for soccer. Is before every single meal, there was always like a plate of raw fennel in the middle of the table to snack on. I think that's how I kind of got into it. Okay, I think I have some tomato paste kicking around here to use up. I just freeze my tomato paste if I don't use the can all at once. You've had fennel, but not raw. It's quite potent, but it's also like very fruity and sweet when it's raw. Sounds good, Annie. We're just gonna be prepping the broth up and the seafood, and then probably not even gonna start cooking within the next half an hour. So you're good to go there. Okay, I just gotta go grab a can of tomatoes. I'll be back. Go back? Go back to what? Okay, I'm back. Oh, yes. So honestly, Scoozy, this is all I do. I just like open up the can, scoop out what I need, and just put it back in the freezer. The can never oxidizes or anything this way, but if you're worried about that, then just scoop it into another container. And then I always just pull it out. Takes like half an hour-ish to thaw. And then you just take what you need, put it back in the freezer. You should start to do that. All right, what we're gonna do. So once we have everything chopped up, we will heat some olive oil in a very large pot, it says. Add the fennel, onion, shallots, and salt. Saute until it's translucent. Add the garlic and the red pepper flakes. Saute a little bit more. Stir in the tomato paste and the canned tomatoes, your vegetable broth and bay leaf. And then we want to bring that up to a simmer. You want to simmer that for about half an hour so that everything can come together before we cook our fish in it. So many 3/4 cans. Yeah, like I said, is you only usually need like what, a scoop out of there and that's it. And then we are going to cut up the salmon and the halibut so that it can cook at the same time as the shrimp and the clams. So you want to cut our fish a little bit smaller so it only takes, let's say max 3 minutes to cook it in the broth. So it'll be a very quick cook once we are ready. You could also put them in small silicone cube trays. Oh, good one, Chef Babs. Good one, man. I have seen that trick before. The old ice cube tray trick. Hey, Solid, how's it going, man? Happy New Year. Even though we're almost in February, we have not seen you in a while. There are so many little tips and tricks for cooking. There's always more than one way to do something. Yeah, that's interesting, White Dove. I don't often see tubes of tomato paste here where I'm at. Yeah, it's been a minute or so. What do I want to put this stuff into? Probably just a bowl. A bowly bowl. I don't think I need too huge of a pot. Mind you, you're definitely gonna lose some area once we put the seafood into the broth. Better safe than sorry. Just bring out the really big pot. Using Grandma's pot. Hi, Monastache. How are you and Graham doing? Did you guys have fun on your front page stream yesterday? Yeah, this fennel is like some of the most beautiful fennel I've seen in a while. You've been keeping busy, Solid. Oh my gosh, the snow. So it only lasted a week here, but we were snowed in for 3 days. Yeah, 3 days or 4 days even. It took about 4 days to even get our street plowed, so we couldn't get out. Shut down. Feeling a bit beat up. Yeah, when you accidentally stream for 7 hours, it's like, what the heck? Gotta get some rest now. Can you freeze buttermilk? Yeah, why did we get snow? I wonder, Titan. In my experience, the only kind of dairy thing other than cheese that I freeze is cream. Buttermilk might split. That's the only thing I'm gonna say, Scoos. I don't have any experience with freezing buttermilk, but you can freeze whipping cream, no problem. Yeah, Monastache did look super cute. Oh, the island does not have anything winter preparation here. Okay, so you freeze it, but it does mix back together, Amanda. Freeze buttermilk in its original container. Be sure there's enough space to allow it to expand. Yep. You can wish, Titan, but I don't think we'll get snow again. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it's already been like +8 to +11 all week here. Yeah, no, you're cute. No, you. The freezer is great as long as you don't like leave your stuff in there for a year. There's nothing wrong with freezing food though. There's a reason why it's a method of preservation. You're actually good at dating things. That's a good one. That's a good skill to have. Because yeah, it always sucks when you like find something in the freezer. It's like, what is this and when was it from? Yeah, you've never seen it hit like -15. Me neither. Me neither. Okay, let's get into this onion. All right, so originally, we can imagine that one of the original versions of Cioppino was probably pretty rustic. And say that the fishermen were probably not too concerned about their onion being like small diced. So this could be either as rustic as you want it or as composed of a dish as you want it. I think we'll meet somewhere in the middle because this is our first time making it. We'll go for like 1/2 inch dice here. Somewhere in the middle. You don't want it too big. Like we don't want the size of our aromatics to be the same size as all of our seafood. I think it should be smaller. Yeah, rustic. -30 and below. Oh, believe me, solid. I mean, that's why I moved from Alberta. You guys barely got snow. It was disappointing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, overnight we got 14 inches. It was nuts. Okay, so 1/2 inch sized dice on our onion. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Solid. We get a whisper of winter. To be honest, I actually look forward to the snow here every year because I know it only lasts for a week. Happens once a year for a week. Maybe an inch? What? A week of snow, yeah, it's pretty manageable. Try not to cry. The onion actually wasn't super strong. Okay, into our shallot. I think the shallot's gonna make me cry more than the onion will. Send help. So you wanna dice our shallot around the same size as the onion. And shallots are the expensive ingredient here. And really, they're just a combination of onion and garlic. So if you can't really afford the shallot in this dish, just bump up your onion and garlic. Super simple. Yeah, seriously crying right now. And then we are gonna leave the garlic separate because it burns quicker. A little bit more sugar in garlic. Oh man, it's getting me big time. Yeah, I think we need some onion goggles for this stream. I'm gonna go pretty heavy on the garlic here. I know Dust would agree. Let's do like 5 cloves. A little glassy. I'm not crying, you're crying. Just so happy to be here. Oh, we went 6 cloves. Even better. We're gonna slice up the garlic instead of mincing. I like seeing the nice little garlic slices when you have something brothy. Yeah, this is small garlic again. We used up all of the elephant garlic. Whew. Okay, I'm okay. We're good. Okay, just nice thin slices. Yes, that is going to be deadly. So the garlic goes with the bay leaves. I need to go blow my nose, guys. Got me good. Okay, we're back. We're back and good to go. Hey, Speed. Is this the Shun? Yes, it is. Yes, yes. Here's the link for my knife that I use, if you're interested in it. No bad things to say about it. Okay, into our fennel bulb. This is gonna be a fun one. So this stuff is usable. Let me just say that. It's really good for infusing flavor into stocks and broths. I have had this knife for 5 years now? I think over 5 years. Are they worth the $750,000 that they cost? Yes, 100%. Is obviously working in restaurants. This was my knife. This was my tool every single day for like 8 to 12 hours a day. So yes, it is worth the investment if you want a good knife to use. I find that they stay sharp really well. They're easy to maintain. And the handle fits my hand comfortably. I think that's also really important when you're buying a knife, is how does it feel in your hand? Because all knives have different handles. So we're gonna cut off the stalk from the fennel. And then we can use like these are called the fennel fronds. We can use that for garnish because there is good flavor there. They're like sweet, a little bit crunchy. So maybe we'll pick off all the really nice ones, use that to garnish the dish later. At least then we have something green to put on top. And this is like really nice and delicate. I steal like every day or so when I'm cooking. And then I do have the whetstones as well. I'm not amazing at using a whetstone. I definitely have to practice. But for the most part, if you keep the edge on your blade by using this steel, then you don't really have to sharpen it as much. Fennel fronds can just go into the fridge for now, so they don't wilt. And then breaking this guy down. I'm gonna cut off the bottom. And then fennel comes apart in layers. It's a bulb. So this is how I like to break down fennel. Just kind of peel it apart in all the different layers. Sometimes it does help to cut it in half first. And then it has a core, like the same way that cabbage does. So cut out the core, and then all of your layers should fall apart better. Yeah, sharpening your knives with a whetstone is super relaxing. Should just zone into it. Should be nothing else on your mind. Oh, you got Doggo there with you too, Scoos. You're sucked in now. Oh, you're streaming? You're streaming later? I keep forgetting that you stream, Speed. Okay, keep peeling our layers. Hey, hopefully it'll time out so that we can come and raid you after my stream. That'd be good. This is a nice bulb of fennel. It's really nice and crunchy and juicy still. Okay, so next we just kind of want to go over everything, make sure there's no blemishes really, which there's not. And then we're gonna match the fennel size to our onion and shallot size. So we're gonna cut our strips. Cooked fennel, I find that it gets this really amazing sweetness and caramelization compared to the taste of raw fennel. Bye, Josie. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit at least. It's so good to see you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and maybe you can pop back on tomorrow. Did almost a 5-hour one yesterday of ribs, checking cows, working on the dirt bike. Oh my gosh, you got cows? So jealous. Smoking streams are tough to keep people interested since it takes so long. Yep. Yep. We know that. All right, there we go. Put that back to the other side, and now we can start making our little cubes. This is a good dish to practice knife skills, if that is what you wanted to do. It's calming to just watch the smoke. It's true, Scoos. So much prep, Dust, hey? Yeah, I freaking loved prep when I was still working in a restaurant too. I could prep all day. All day. But it's like cooking on the line. I don't know. I just don't love cooking ridiculously fast anymore. I just don't see the point of it. It's not enjoyable for me. I guess I don't get the same rush. Oh my gosh, does that mean I'm like getting old and growing up, guys? I mean, you get the rush, but whether you enjoy it or not, I guess. I am. Thank you, Dust. Confirmed. We're getting old. Okay, after this, we can start working on our broth, getting that simmering. While the broth is going, we can put the apple crisp in the oven to start baking. And then we can work on our shellfish for that half an hour while the broth has to simmer. Funny you ask, Speed. Better half is having a nap. You guys know this. The seafood, I'm gonna say, Dust, the seafood will cook in like max 5 minutes. Yeah, how shellfish of you. Well, Sammy got up early this morning and went to the store for us to get the fresh clams because we forgot to pick them up on the way home. So he's having a little nappy, and he even like brought me breakfast and everything. So he took care of me. Now it's my turn to take care of him. You'll be 41 in a few weeks, Dust. Amazing. Well, you know what they say, you're only as old as you feel. I mean, let's think of Norman here. The 93-year-old that we're working on is fixing his house. He's 93, but he feels 36. Oh my gosh. Can we get a big welcome in for Butt Burglar, guys? One of the OGs. Butt! I love you. Thank you so much for the 13 months. How are you doing? Guys, Butt Burglar was like one of the very first people to find my stream. Look at that. You guys want to see where all the founder badges at? There we go.
Dust Parade gifted a tier 1 sub to Solid Smith. They have given 38 gift subs in the channel.
Yeah, you even have a badge. It's like you and Sammy have the badge. Thank you, Dust, for gifting the sub to Solid. You guys, Solid Smith is the one who creates all of the emotes and sub badges for this stream. Oh, your daughter has the flu. I hope she gets better soon. Things are good here, but yeah, a lot has like been changing. A lot of good things are happening. Actually, so the onion is the only one he hasn't done, and that was from OMAT. The rest of them are all from Solid. Fam is good. Yeah, everything is so good, but it's okay. It's okay, but. And we actually have quite a few Texans that watch the stream now. Bud is also a Texan. I think at least still. Shiggity. We're getting into the seafood in maybe 5 minutes. We're gonna rinse some clams. Cut up some salmon and halibut. Yeah, yeehaw. Okay, so onion, shallot, fennel, all cut to the same size. We have sliced garlic and bay leaf. We have our tomato paste. Have a wonderful nap, Speed. And actually, I'm gonna give you a follow right now so that whenever you go live, hopefully I'll see it and maybe we can go raid you later. Boom. Done and done. Okay, see you, Speed. Next up, before we get our broth going, let's open our cans of tomatoes. I'm using diced tomatoes. I like the little bit of texture from diced tomatoes. But how are you and hubby? How are you guys doing? You're hitting your 6-year marriage anniversary next month. Congrats. Not bad, yeah, for having married so young. You got the twins. And then Sam and I is just under 5 months now until our wedding. Yeah, we're doing so good. We're working together again during the week, and we have weekends off together. It's amazing. This is like life-changing. Okay, I'm popping over to the stove. I'm gonna turn our pot onto medium-high heat. I know it is getting exciting. I had to take away 1 day of streaming because I was doing 4 before. But I had to take away a day of streaming just so I can like keep planning the wedding out because I don't have a wedding planner. We are not even working in the restaurant anymore. I left in the middle of July of last year, and we're working for my dad's company. Albus, hi, good to see you. Yeah, I'm still out here. We be cooking. Yeah, we do like handyman work during the week, and then I just cook at home on stream. That is like my balance of happiness. I finally found it. Okay, we want enough olive oil in the bottom of the pot just to cover. You remember us working on a house one day? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm 6 months into it now, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, let's bring all of our broth things over by the pot. Get a spoon for our tomato paste. We should build tiny houses for all the hipsters. I actually said that to Sam not too long ago. Corner the niche market. It is getting pretty big here. It's either like tiny houses or a ton of people just like live in camper vans. Yeah, hipster here, can confirm. I would live in a tiny house. I 100% would. Okay, so we can cross off on our prep list the broth. Everything is going for that. I'm gonna get out a plastic cutting board, and then we can start dealing with our seafood. Yeah, they are super cool. I mean, tiny houses aren't very different compared to the size of apartments that they make these days. Okay, oil is just starting to smoke, so just be careful, but it's time to put in our onion, shallot, and fennel. It should sizzle right away. We'll give that a stir. An earth-ship house? What's that one? You think you'd off yourself living in a tiny house with the twins? Yeah, maybe later on in life. Or they would just like need their own tiny house. Okay, so it's gonna take about 10 minutes to cook the onion, shallot, and fennel down. Get a little bit of color on it too. Caramelization equals flavor. Yeah, tiny house for the adults. Each of the kids gets a shed. That's what you get, kid. Too good. Let us not forget about making some garlic bread to go with this as well. We need the bread for dipping the broth. Okay, seafood. We see the food. We're gonna eat it. Bread for dipping, dust. Here is a chunk of halibut. This was in the freezer, so it is previously frozen. We're gonna dice that up. So actually, I'm gonna reuse the bowl that we had our aromatics in. This is actually the presentation side, but it's a little bit beat up. Also, we want to be sure to not have any bones in our shellfish or seafood either. House gets built out of recycled stuff, like foundation is packed tires, and you make the front half of the house an indoor greenhouse. Real hippie shit. Oh, I think my brother talked about doing that too. Where you like make blocks out of like hay and dirt and stuff. I was like, go for it. You do that. You want to keep stirring our vegetables as they cook as well. That way we get even cook. They are cool though. Definitely cool. Okay. I'm going to separate this here. And then same with this other side, because obviously it just wants to fall apart like that. So I'm going for 1-inch cubes here, or around that size, for the salmon and the halibut, because it will shrink a little bit as it cooks too. Smelling good already in here. The salmon, a little bit of work is involved here. So we have a little bit of skin to take off. Yes, perfect timing, Annie. We are just sauteing the onion, shallot, and fennel right now. We're making the base of the broth. And then while this is cooking, we are preparing all of our seafood for the dish, as well as some garlic bread. Also, we have a wild butt burglar in here, which I thought you would enjoy. You should know. One of the OGs, exactly. All right, so this is the tail end of a spring salmon. And I have already taken all the pin bones off of this. when I brought it home after I caught it. So all we got to do is take the skin off. A big old knife. Starting to get a little bit of color on our vegetables. Let that cook for maybe a minute more, and then we'll add our garlic and bay leaf. Okay, so taking the skin off of fish. I caught this fish. Yeah, it was a 20-pound spring salmon. It was not small. If you want to see it, it is posted on my Instagram. You just have to scroll down a bit. I believe this was in July. Yes, second best catch. So we want to go from the tail end away from ourselves. And we just want to be able to like hold our fingers down on the skin here. Make a nice little slice. Getting down to the skin. So we're separating the flesh away from there. Just gonna check on our onions. Definitely don't want to burn that. I hear them sizzling back here. And then we want to keep our skin really tight at the bottom. And really all we should be doing is kind of just pulling the skin and holding our knife in one spot. And it should loosen up. So like shimmy the skin back and forth while keeping your knife blade at like a little bit of an angle. And it should slide right off. Not bad. Obviously, I should have been able to get that and that off, but not bad at all. And that's the underside. I really enjoy skinning fish. And actually, I'm gonna switch over to this knife just because that piece is quite large. I'm gonna give my hands a wash, and then we're gonna go back to the broth for a minute. Beautiful. This salmon was around 20 pounds when I caught it. Yeah, standing on a boat holding the fish. That was the day I went out with Zach, his dad, and his grandpa. We left the dock at 3 in the morning and we're back home by noon. Okay, so I'm dumping in not the container, but the garlic and the bay leaf. Give that a stir. We'll cook that for a minute. You can see that we're getting some nice caramelization already. Yeah, that is kind of the best time to fish because everything is still really calm on the water. And then kind of as the day went on, it got like wavier and wavier. To the point, like by the time we were coming back in around lunchtime, it was almost like unmanageable to be out there fishing. And spring salmon fishing is very shallow. So like we go out to this one point and it's like maybe 50 feet down. is the depths. At some spots it was 25 feet. And it's like, we might hit the boat on the bottom. So much fun though. There you go, Bolton. Okay, lovely. Let's add in our tomato paste before our garlic starts to burn. It's all nice and roasty toasty. I'm actually just gonna add the rest of this can. It'll cook down. I'm gonna turn down our pot for a sec while we're mixing in our tomato paste. Don't want to burn it. And we want to saute the tomato paste a little bit before we add in the canned tomatoes. Otherwise, tomato paste, if you don't cook it enough, it has this like little bit of a bitter taste of uncooked tomatoes. We don't want that. Beautiful. This is the point where you would add your white wine to kind of deglaze your pot, if your budget allows. Tomatoes are so sad. Thanks, Bolton. Yeah, almost more orange than red, right? That is always the one thing I miss from summertime, Annie. The fresh garden tomatoes. Okay, 2 cans of tomatoes going in. And then we just need to mix up a little bit of vegetable broth to round this out. Five cups worth, it says. 5 cups. I'm gonna go with just 1 liter. That's gonna be too much, I think. So 4 cups. 2 cans? Yeah, 2 cans of tomato. Do this. Why you no focus? Maybe it's too shiny. Oh, there we go. Better than bouillon. This is what I'm using for my vegetable broth. What's in here? Carrot, celery, onion, tomato, potato, garlic, salt, sugar, spice extract. That's it. How did you like it, Annie? I'm happy that someone bought it from my recommendation. Definitely better than the cubes. Okay, phew. That's good. That makes me happy. That means I'm not crazy. Yeah, booyah. Okay, for 4 cups worth, let's do like a good tablespoon. Because we haven't added any salt into the broth either. So it's okay if we make this nice and seasoned. Just give that a whisk. You can just tell by the color that it's made properly. And I mean, when you taste it too, you can tell by the flavor. Just give that a taste, make sure it's not too salty. That is perfect. Seriously, just tastes like roasted vegetable water. Okay, now we're going back over. Pour that in. That loosened it up. And now we are going to bring this to a simmer and simmer it for about half an hour to let everything marry together. Thank you for the follow, Plasma Badger. Welcome in. Back to our fish, guys. Once the broth comes up to a simmer, that's when I think we'll set our timer. Just so we can be sure that we don't lose track of time. Okay, so same thing as the halibut for our salmon is we want to go roughly 1-inch size cubes. Oh, the kitties like the follow animation. Thank you. So nice. Kitties. Oh no, forever unclean. Like the cross section on this is insane. Oh, get back on there. I don't know if that'll focus for us. Not today, friends. Not today. Yeah, more like focus. Hey, Plasma, I'm sure your kitties are liking the seafood on this as well. Thanks, Scooz. Okay, get that into our bowl. I can see Cioppino being one of those dishes that is really good the next day once it sits. They do have a soft spot for the fish. I think if you let this seafood like sit in the broth overnight, oh man, it's gotta be good. I'm just opening up our shrimps. We got raw white medium prawns, easy peel, shell split, and deveined. Interesting solid. I think your mind might be swayed once you have like fish like I have right here in front of me, like freshly caught from the ocean. So much different than what you get from the store. Like it just doesn't taste fishy. It just tastes so clean. Trigger fish. Salmon's too strong for you as well. There are also different types of salmon, right? So it depends on the type. I mean, sockeye salmon is the cheapest, other than like farmed Atlantic. And sockeye is the strongest tasting salmon. Whereas this spring salmon is very expensive and it's not fishy at all. Okay, so we're gonna leave the tails on, or actually the entire peel. Actually, we might peel most of the shell off and just leave the tail. We'll see how we do for timings, but I think we'll have time for that. Next, we gotta get our clams rinsing in the sink. Gotta rinse the sand out. Gonna pop the rest of this salmon away. Your friend brought home from Alaska some fresh salmon and it was too strong. Oh, dang. Yeah, fish is not for everyone, that's for sure. Oh, we're almost simmering for our broth. We are almost there. I'm gonna leave that. We'll peel those shrimps up. Just Gotta show you guys these clams. At least you can do mild fish like cod. Oh, that's good. Yeah, start there and then work your way up. So clams, these are fresh. You can see how I have them packed in ice. And then this is like a steamer pot setup that I have. So this is a perforated little insert, and then the liquid falls underneath. One thing with shellfish, we don't want shellfish to sit in water. We don't want it to be submerged in the tap water because they're used to salt water, so they will die. These are still alive, so they also have to get air to stay alive. So we don't want to cover this completely with like plastic wrap or something and suffocate them, because it doesn't take very long for them to die. We know that it is dead when the clam opens up fully and you can't close it. So I left a couple just to show you guys. I thought it'd be good to not pick it out right away. So like this guy that's opened up, not good. It's not gonna close, so that one is dead. This is our first step, is just going through our clams, picking out the dead ones. Here's another one. I don't think he's gonna make it. If we press on the shell and it doesn't close, that's another loss. Kind of rule of thumb for fresh shellfish when you do buy it is usually around 10% loss by weight is allowed. So same with this guy. It's opened up and it's not closing. I think that was the only 3 I found in there. That were opened up like that. Okay, so now we can start to run cold water over this. This is the one time that we do want to submerge the clams, just for a little bit. And then the sand will sink to the bottom and we'll pick our clean clams out of the water that way. So just pop that into the sink, let it run for like a minimum 15 minutes. Basically, we want to run it until we don't see any more sand coming out. We don't need like a crazy stream of water. Just like a slow kind of constant stream is good. And then we just mix up our clams, give those a little toss. Good to go. Obviously don't wash your hands over your clams if they are in the sink. But we do want to wash them after we touch the raw shellfish. Cross-contamination here is a no-no. Okay, our broth is almost up. I'm gonna do this for you guys. I'm just gonna go take a really quick bathroom break and we'll be back. We'll peel up some shrimp, make some garlic bread, and actually let's turn on our oven for our apple crisp too. 375 Fahrenheit is what we wanna bake at. Be right back, guys. All right, I thought I would grab our crisp at the same time as I was away. It's in here from the other side. There's garlic bread. Gives us life. Can't be a bad thing. Cannot be a bad thing. Okay, let's get a little container for our shells. And we are simmering here with our broth. I'm gonna do a 25-minute timer for that. Yeah, is there even better bread than that? I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna try and leave just this little tail section on. And then we'll peel off at least the legs and stuff. Make it a bit easier to eat the shrimps. Just like that. Oh no. Obviously pick any poops out. Yes, garlic naan. That's a good one, solid. Like the flavor of bread when it's grilled, insane. Obviously, if you can, buy the shrimp that is like peeled already or semi-peeled. But this is good practice. We're going through all of the motions. In reality, this really shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes anyways. There a robot that peeled the shell of a shrimp? That'd be amazing. Well, I mean, there probably is, Annie. It's just not available to all of us. Username. Yeah, it's not legal there. Well, it is legal here. Yeah, you either get munchies or you fall asleep because this is relaxing to watch too. And actually we do have some shake that we got from our friend. We're decarboxylating it right now for a future canna baking stream. Oh, wrong way. There you go. It'll never be legal there. Hey, I still think it's crazy that it's legal in the entire country. Life is stressful. Aw, well, I'm glad you can find some solace here with us, Peaches. I'm sure you're not the only one. I do think that cooking is like a form of therapy. Like, it should not be stressful. I just think that most people these days don't have enough time to cook, so they don't enjoy it as much as they should. And that's kind of sad. Because like most good things take time to make. You learned how to make the nicest canna butter. We're actually doing it the sous vide method. So you put your shake in the bag or whatever you're using for infusion, seal up the bag, heat up the circulator to 200 Fahrenheit, same temperature that you would the oven, and you cook it for 4 to 6 hours in there, depending on how much you have. And then all you do, open up the bag, put in your fat of sorts, close it back up, cook it for another 4 to 6 hours. And that way, you don't have any smells either in the house. So it's a very clean way to do it. Very sneaky. Yes, exactly, Bolton. Just take a, just slow down a little bit more and enjoy the process. But that could really be pertaining to anything in life. Oh, beautiful. The sound of the oven. Put that crisp in as soon as I am done these shrimps. The crisp will take about 45 minutes. Should time out perfectly with us kind of finishing eating our Cioppino, and then we get dessert after. I won you over with that for buying a sous vide? That's hilarious. They're really useful for meal prep too, we've found. It's like the updated version of a slow cooker. Yeah, it's kind of funny, the legality of it in the States. Very interesting. But it also does differ here from province to province as well. Even though it is like legal everywhere, you are allowed to possess it. Each province has different laws pertaining to like how much you can have, etc. Need to add a little guar gum emulsifier. What? A gold cream? That sounds insane solid. Whipped butter is amazing. I'm in. Okay, there is our nicely peeled shrimp. We got our salmon and halibut in there. I'm just gonna pop that into the fridge. I'm gonna take a look at our clams. See if we're getting any sand in the bottom here. Give them a stir again. Because sometimes the sand is just on the outside of the shell too. Those look clean. There really isn't much for sand in the bottom of that. So those are good to go as well. They're all rinsed off. I mean, in reality, they should look a little bit more clean on the outside too. The running water. Yeah. There's clams? Okay, just stack all of that shellfish up together. Keep it cold. Washing my hands. like, is there a water fountain in your house? That would be super relaxing though. Okay, that crisp is going in. This broth got a pretty good simmer going. I'm gonna turn it down a touch. Just checking on our crisp recipe here. Oh, sorry, they went at 350 Fahrenheit. That's fine, we'll just turn it down once we put it in. It says for about 45 minutes. So let's do a half an hour timer and go from there. Hello, Demon Dan. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Oh no, Annie. Guar gum is a laxative? I did not know that. Okay, crisp that we made up first thing this morning. Nice little gala apple crisp. She's going in. And this pan is coming out. And we bake it uncovered. Okay, well, I have 14 minutes on the timer now. So we'll just let that roll. We'll let it go off. That's for our broth. And then we'll set another 15. It's a gala affair. Daniel's son. I'm glad I'm not the only one that says that to my friends named Dan. Daniel's son. No, that actually sounds really smart, Solid. Because yeah, sometimes butter separates, right? Hotro Bubba. Thanks for the follow, welcome. All right, garlic bread time. We got this really cute little loaf of organic sourdough. So we're gonna get a couple slices off of there. We'll mix up a nice garlic butter, homemade garlic butter. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, I've only heard it for like 36 years now. Daniel-san. What do you guys usually do for garlic bread? I usually like to just put it under the broiler in the oven. The smiley face, yeah, Thrifty Foods. Hee hee. Sam says this was like freshly made this morning. He asked for it when he was at the grocery store at 6 o'clock. He's like, you got any fresh bread? Hell yeah. Hey, Stewie. Butter and griddle. Okay. You're the griddler type. Get some nice thick slices. It's always a good idea to do extra garlic bread, because how sad is it when you don't have enough? Dinner for the dogs sounds good. I'll do 2 slices each for Sammy and I. See how this tastes. It's good. They use whole wheat. That's really good. Should be easy to digest. You're doing sausages, Annie. What kind of sausage? Clarified butter. What are the best uses for it? I mean, pretty much anything, except you don't want to use clarified butter for baking because you want the dairy solids still in there. But clarified butter is great to cook with. I mean, if you've ever seen stuff called ghee in the store, Ghee, that is literally clarified butter. So instead of paying $20 for a little jar of ghee, just use clarified butter. It is the same thing. Oh, chorizo sausage. Yum, Annie. Yum, yum. All right, we got some butter here, nice and softened up. We got some garlic. We're doing 2 cloves. 2 full cloves. You've never had Indian food. Oh my goodness. It's so yummy. What else do I want to put in here? I don't have any parsley to put into the garlic butter. But I will take out the basil because I think, obviously, Italian-American dish, we should garnish with basil as well as our fennel fronds that we put aside from earlier. And then what? Should we cheese the garlic bread up? Grate a little bit of matzah over it? I think we have to. Yeah, Indian food is life. I mean, most of Indian dishes are like one pot wonders, right? I like how most of us are always on the same page. I guess that's why we spend most of our weekends together. This is the reality. Well, do we think this is too much? I think I'm just gonna use all of this. Any leftover garlic butter that we have, well, we can just either put it in the fridge or make sure we use it up sometime soon. You live for spicy. Yes. I'm gonna soften this up just a touch more. Is too much butter even a thing? Thank you. You're keeping me in check. These are the questions you guys need to ask me. Because sometimes I ask silly questions. We don't want to melt the butter. Just soften it. Perfect. It should be soft enough that you can mix it around really easily. And because we're using unsalted butter for this, I believe we should add some salt to it. First, let's smash our garlic to peel it. And then I'm just gonna use a garlic press to mince the garlic smaller into the butter. You don't even own a microwave. Seriously, the only reason I think we have a microwave is to like do things with butter. Either melt or soften. Oh Oh no, Bolton. I'm sorry. No room in the kitchen. Well, that's a good thing though. I mean, hey, if you don't have to use it, well then don't do it. Yum. I mean, I've worked in houses that have both like a microwave oven and a microwave. It's like, what do you do here? How do you use both of those? Season our butter. For this amount of butter, do like a half teaspoon of salt. Maybe I want to put a little bit of thyme in here. It's like one fresh herb I do have kicking around that I think would be nice. A couple little thyme leaves. You're cooking in your kitchen right now. It's just a matter of time till you get some good food. Greatest answer. You remember when your family got the first microwave? Were people like scared to use it? Oh, biscuits and gravy. But instead of gravy, you're making chicken pot pie filling with biscuits? I'm in. Tradesies? Just gonna pinch the thyme leaves into here. I'm not even gonna cut them down. Make this easy on ourselves. Oh, I guess. Hey, Annie. Yeah, not at that time. No one talked about radiation. That's true. Yours was all metal on the outside, had a physical dial to turn. Actual bell rang when it was done. Yeah, bing! Hi, Vune. How are you? Happy you could join us today. Things are good. It's almost time for lunch. We're just working on one of our last things, which is the garlic bread. And then we just have to cook our seafood into our broth for the Cioppino. And the apple crisp is in the oven already. Let's give this a good mix. I believe in tasting your garlic butter before you use it. Just to see how this seasoning is. The garlic and thyme. That was a good decision. Let's get a sheet pan. So we're just gonna broil these. Vune, you made salami pizza, onion and button shrooms. Just watched a couple of episodes of a wonderful TV show with your wife. Life is awesome, as it should be. This is the worst sheet pan ever, which is why we use it under the broiler. It's seen things and gone places. Let's just say that. Let's maximize our surface area on this bread too. Yeah, a perfect weekend, if you will. Now's the time to pull out your sandwich spreader. Oh, you don't have one of those? This is from my toolkit from culinary school. We had to have a sandwich spreader in our toolkit. As you can see, it was used many times. Yeah, it's taken names. And you better be spreading that garlic butter all the way to the edge. Oh, hello, Apple Crisp. Okay, I'm gonna do another 15. You're interested in this spreader. It's just called a sandwich spreader. But it honestly works great for spreading like butter, mayo, kind of any kind of spread onto bread. It puts the spread on the bread. There we go. We do have some extra garlic butter. I ain't mad. And nope. Okay, now we're coming in with just a little bit of cheese. Yeah, glue 2 butter knives together, you get the spreader. It is not Pampered Chef. It is like a kind of industrial, kind of kitchen equipment brand. But you probably could find a Pampered Chef one. Okay, I'm just using some like cheap pizza mozzarella for this. For a little bit of topping on here. Because what's garlic bread without cheese? At least just like a little bit of cheese to brown up. It's flying everywhere. Oh God, what's going on here? I need to trim this. Just cut off that chunk. That was way too difficult. Let's just rewind and start over from that point. Okay, we're not skimping on the cheese. Yeah, we have the Pampered Chef stone as well. There we go. Don't want to waste any of the cheese. Cheesy garlic bread makes it better. Plus, plus. From our teacher. Thank you, Annie. Okay, so all we have to do, broil up our garlic bread and cook our seafood into our broth. Before we start anything, we need to taste our broth that we have been concocting over the last hour or so. Once we are happy with the flavor of our broth, then we can put our seafood into it to cook. So let's go over to the stovetop. I bet it tastes brothy. I think you're right. But hopefully there are a couple other characteristics that we can taste as well. I really like the fennel flavor. Okay, so other than the vegetable broth that we added, we haven't added any salt yet. Hello, Leonardo. How are you? So I think 1 spoonful, 2 spoonful. Start there. Give that a stir. We'll give it another taste. The clams will add a little bit of saltiness just because of the brine that's inside of them from the sea, but not a ton. Thank you for the follow, Leonardo. Okay, one more taste. I think 1 more spoonful, because remember, none of our other fish is seasoned either. Do this. And then I think a little bit of lemon would be great in here, just to kind of round out the dish. There's a touch of lemon juice. And I am taking out all of our seafood. We're getting ready to cook it. Give that lemon a little roll, loosen up the juices. I'm gonna do half of this juiced. Because lemon and seafood, very happy combination. One more stir and a taste, and then I think we are good to start cooking. Our garlic bread will broil for just a couple minutes. That's exactly what it needed. The broth just, it tastes brighter. Like all of the flavors are just more intense once we get the proper seasoning in there. Yeah, I know. We're getting close, Dust. Okay, so I'm gonna pour in our fish and shrimp. And then let's also turn up the heat now on this because it was at low. Let's go back up to medium high because all of this is gonna cool off the broth. I haven't put in the pepper flakes yet. Good one, Scoos. We'll add them now. Because yeah, making it a touch spicy would be so good. Give that just a really gentle stir. Obviously the proteins in the fish as they cook, that's the little bit of white stuff that you see there in the broth. Okay, let's get those chili flakes. Thank you, Sir Walk-A-Lot. I do need to hydrate, so I will drink. You can smell it by looking at it. Smell-o-vision. Engaged. All right, a little bit of chili flake. Hey, Dust, when you ate your Cioppino, was it a little bit spicy? Oh, I'm starting to smell that crisp. A tiny bit, not much. Okay. Yeah, Italians don't go crazy with the spice usually. Yeah, this will take a couple of minutes to come back up. But whoo-wee, she's getting thick. Grabbing a couple of bowls out for us for plating. Bouillabaisse, yay. Bouillabaisse is super good. It's like the French version of what we're making right now, Yoon. I've made it on stream for sure twice, I can recall. Okay, looks like we're coming up to a simmer now. Let's pour in our clams. Fresh clams going in. And then we know the clams are cooked when they start to open up. If the clam does not open and it's been cooking in there for like quite a while and every other one is open, that clam is dead. So don't try and pry it open if it did not open, because you will taste a not so good clam. Remember eating bouillabaisse as a kid in Corsica and thought it was horrible. It is. It does have like kind of an adult flavor to it though, I would say. Yeah, Annie made me make it like many months ago. Maybe even years ago. Just give that a little wiggle, make sure nothing is sticking on the bottom. And I think we're gonna turn on the broiler. I'm also gonna go wake the Sammy man up. Let him know that lunch is basically ready. He has awoken. Yeah, go on speaker on Discord. View will be like, Sammy! Okay, checking it out. Salmon's cooked. Clams are almost opened. Trying to be delicate so I don't break up the fish too much. Broiler's going on, so I'm just gonna quickly turn the oven off. Put on to broil. It's okay to do that while the apple crisp is still in there. The broiler won't do anything to it. Plus it looks like it's almost done anyways. Garlic bread's going in. And actually, yeah, that'll be good there. Also, guys, the clams that we are using, they're called little neck clams. Little neck clams. Let's peek at this broiler. Cheese is melting. I don't know what smells better, like the garlic bread or the apple crisp in the oven. It's kind of confusing to my nose right now. Like we get these desserty smells and then all of these savory smells. Just melting. As soon as we come up to a simmer, all of these clams should just pop. Yep, they are just starting to. Cheese is starting to bubble. We are close. But we're drinking. Viewing I would say, like, out of all my senses, my nose is the strongest. Oh my God. And plasma. You guys are gonna make me go to the bathroom again. Ever since I was little, I would like always smell everything before I ate it. It doesn't matter if I already knew what it smelled like. Giving that a little rotation. Okay, let's check on our clammers. Clamming and a jamming. There we go. Finally got one open. Garlic bread's like 30 seconds out. Broiler's off. Let's turn our oven back on to 350 for our crisp. Yeah, hydration is important. Do we gotta skim it? No, I don't think so. We don't really have any scum. Check out our bread. Golden brown goodness. Okay, back over real quick. Okay, clams are starting to pop. I'm gonna turn this off because the residual heat will finish cooking them. One more taste, just to be sure. Has like a really nice kind of light seafood flavor. Like I wouldn't say fishy, it just tastes like the ocean. But it does need more salt now that we added all of that stuff to it. So about a teaspoon more. Give that a little bit of a mix. And I will do about 7 more minutes on our crisp. Okay, I'm grabbing a ladle. Getting ready to plate. Don't worry, guys. I just had to wake the bear up again. The bear that eats with me. Hawk! Oh, no. Welcome in, guys. You came in at the perfect time. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? We're just getting ready to plate up our Cioppino with garlic bread. And our apple crumble is just finishing up in the oven.
Anisoteric for the tier 1 subs to stream elements. They have given 120.
Scoozy's like, now. Hawk, oh no. Yeah, hello, Senior Ruby. It should work. The stream elements. Sammy's already into the garlic bread. Hawk, how was your stream? That's what I made for you today. Bubble Terra, thank you for the follow. Stream was good. You played some Apex. Back cooking some Moro. Nice. Things have been great. We're just rolling right along. Yeah, Sammy knows his priorities. Okay, so Cioppino, an Italian-American seafood stew that originated in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So typically it was made by the fishermen on the docks when they had their catch of the day. And all of the fishermen would kind of chip in and make it together from whatever they caught. And then as time went on, restaurants became more popular and they caught on to this. So in this we have salmon, halibut, shrimp, and clams. And it's a tomato-based broth with fennel. Fennel, garlic, onions, all kinds of good stuff. Matheta? Sigma Theta. Thank you for the follow. You think I got it? I hope so. It's looking super good. We just got a little bit of garnishing to do. Yeah, Raid. I think it's wine o'clock. So one thing that's gonna bug me is I just wanna like wipe the rim of the bowl from all the grease streaks. But we can see that all of our clams, they did open up. So that's awesome. And I like how the clams kind of like hold the other pieces of fish in there. So now what I think I want to do, I think a really nice drizzle of olive oil over top of this would be perfect. This is where you could use something maybe a little bit more fancy. This was bought by a viewer for a stream. So this is a single origin olive oil. It only gets brought out for like special Italian things. But I think the olive oil with the seafood would be amazing, especially for dipping the bread. And then our couple of garnishy things. So because there's fennel in the Cioppino, we took some of the fronds off of the fennel when we were chopping it up. Thought we would reserve some of that for garnish, as well as some basil. You guys are lucky I pressed mute in time. Excuse me. That was a big old sneeze. Thank you. Yes, I'm blessed. Have a wonderful day, Hawk. Thanks for dropping your peeps off to me. Just gonna tear up this basil. There's Sammy's big bowl. He went for the big old bowl. There's your garnishes. Let's get our garlic bread out of the way for a sec. Dust? You didn't have to do that. Thank you, Dust, for the $20 donation. I mean, you donated $20 to St. Jude for us to make this dish. Now what are we gonna do with the other $20? We'll put that towards all the ingredients then. Okay, I'm gonna go in for a quick photo. Gotta post that garlic bread up on the side, right? Balancing act of sorts. Yeah, Bubble. The crisp is, well, 10 seconds away is what's on the timer. So I tried to time it out that we could crush the apple crisp after we eat lunch. That looks super good. Dust, I am so excited for this. Just taking a quick peek. That looks nicely crisped and cooked. So we are just gonna turn off the oven. I'm gonna pop the door open a touch just to start cooling it off. Let's get into lunch. Should have a bowl of apple crisp in the photo. I'll do a separate one.
This is really good.
Sammy's loving it already. He says, this is really good. Dust, thank you very much for the charity donation as well as requesting something as awesome as this. Hope I did it justice. I was really happy with the flavor of the broth though. And as long as you have a good broth flavor, then the seafood's gonna soak up all of that flavor, right? So it kind of seasons itself. And yes, we do need a little shell bowl for discard. There we go. Mmm.
That is really good.
It is so good. Like, all the fish is just like flaking apart, but it's not dry. Let's have one of our clams. So the clam should come clean out of the shell like that. Oh, I think the clam soaked up the most flavor. Wow. Tastes like the ocean.
Trust.
Sammy went for garlic butter in the broth. He says trust. I think you need the fresh herb just to kind of like lighten it up. Okay, let's try some halibut. I do like the chunk of tomato in the broth too. Yeah, he's dropping butter. Dust, when you had it, was your broth just like really smooth? Like there was no chunks of tomato? Oh man, the garlic butter in there? How about a little dip with our vessel? The bread is served alongside always as the starch. And obviously we don't want to waste any of the broth. There were chunks too. Okay, awesome. Just the bread and the broth. I think that's all we really need there. Yeah, Cioppino's on the list for scoos.
Cioppino should be on the list for everybody.
Yeah, everyone should make this.
Instead of halibut, you can use any whitefish.
That's exactly it. You don't even have to do all of the things that I did in here. It's literally just catch of the day. I'm sure the restaurants are the ones that made it fancy and put like 5 different types of seafood in it. Oh my goodness. Perfect lunch. I like the fattiness of the salmon in here though. Cod and monkfish. Nice, Annie. Yeah, that would be like the East Coast version, right?
Poor man's lobster and cod.
Yeah. Poor man's lobster and cod. Sammy's into it. He's crushing his stuff. I'm gonna take this crisp out so it can just cool off a little bit so it's not like molten hot when we go to taste it. Yeah, now it's time to get into the couch. The broth, it looks heavy, but it's actually really light to eat.
See, now that I've had a nap, I'm gonna get you to just cuddle up beside me after this.
Yeah.
You're just gonna fall right asleep. I'm gonna play some video games.
Yep.
You're gonna be a snuggle monster.
Oh, we crisped it good.
Again.
Yeah, we crisped it good. Sam's gonna fall asleep again. My voice is just so relaxing for Sam. Like, he's relaxed knowing that I'm like home safe with him, so he just falls asleep when he listens to me stream. Yeah, one of those soups where you need like a big spoon because you just want to like keep shoveling more and more.
Butt burglar.
Yeah, we got a wild butt. Founder's badge. Butt wants us to build tiny homes. Yeah. Help my bulb, Jimmy. Thanks for the follow. You are so welcome, Dust. Like, I love doing meal requests for you guys because one, that helps me create the menu. It's easier for me when I go to think of what to make every week. And two, it's like the interactive part of the stream. And I want to be able to cook like with you guys and for you guys and show you how I would make it. Because honestly, like watching a Food Network show, you're not gonna learn everything that I just taught you. Okay, so we need a little bowl for the crisp. Yes, and it makes you guys want to make new recipes too.
And it challenges you.
Came on Twitch to see Papa Brian. Does he no longer stream?
Who's Papa Brian?
I don't know.
Never seen him. Ever.
That's so true, but yeah, it's nice to not plan every single meal idea alone. Plus, it helps me make new things too. Like, this was the first time I've ever made Cioppino. Yes, I've eaten it, so I kind of know how it tastes. So I'm going off of my memory of my flavor palette, but eating it and making it is totally different. I know it is crisp time, Shadow. Need at least one bite. Very good call. Not adding the water in here. I can't even imagine if we did our half cup of water. Yeah, that was in the recipe. Because look at that. Look how much liquid's already in there. Yeah. Moist. I think we made a very nice crisp together. You used to have Ida Reds in storage because they would keep for so long. Is that a type of apple? Sammy's sweating. What's up?
That was really, really fucking good.
He loved it.
Yeah, that was really good.
They are tart. Oh, I love tart apples. Best thing about a crisp, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It works at all times of day, Scoos. We're gonna take a big old spoonful. And then yes, you can serve it with ice cream.
That was the best thing I ate this year.
This is not my spoon.
Nope. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know where this spoon came from. You guys, you ever open your drawer and you're like, well, this is my spoon, but where did this come from? Maybe upstairs. I'm gonna give you this because I'm gonna finish lunch after this and then get into crisp. Oh. I don't use any sugar substitutes. And to be honest, I never have before. Like, I've never bought in stevia or anything like that. Okay, we always go in for the corner piece. Try and get more of a close-up here. I could see it being good without any sweetener. I think this recipe was very sweet. But we'll see once we taste it. Also, look at this. Like, it shouldn't be like that. So I think they also needed more flour in with the apples. Imagine if we added the water. It would be like an apple soup. And then some of our crumbs. Big old crumbs. Once it sets overnight, everything would kind of like soak back into it. Oh, Sammy does have the cream. Yeah, pour it and I'll take a little photo. Ice cream, whipping cream, something creamy, I think goes really good here. Go from the other side. Yeah. Yeah, god damn. I'm just gonna have a little spoonful. I don't wanna spoil my lunch. Even though that would not be spoiling lunch. Just wanna see how it crisped up.
The top's crispy.
Apple crisp soup. Mmm.
Cool off.
Mm-hmm. It's actually not too sweet. It is not too sweet, my friends. And I like the little bit of salt that we put in the topping. I think that was perfect. So yeah, why don't we check this tomorrow? Once this goes in the fridge overnight, we'll check back and there shouldn't really be too much extra liquid anymore. Also, this is good hot or cold. So up to you how you want to serve it. You could totally pour the liquid into a saucepan and simmer it if you wanted to reduce it more. But I think it will soak back up once it rests overnight. Tomorrow's gonna be a fun one, White Dove. So we're doing some cookbook cookery. Out of this book, we've not cooked out of here in a long time. So Action Bronson, rapper, chef, beloved individual, he says, and heralded human. We are making explosive chicken. This is the chicken of all effing chickens. That basically sold me on the recipe. So it's like a Szechuan style fried chicken. And then we're gonna do grilled broccoli and like fried shallots and peanuts to go on top and rice. I think it's gonna be super yummy. I think it's gonna be really fun. Yeah, nom. So same time tomorrow as well. I'll be starting at around 11 a.m. PST. I find that this time just works great for all of us. If it doesn't work for you, say something. I just like to know more than anything. But I find that this gives us the best streams. Yeah. Okay, who are we gonna go raid? We have Hunger Service, Citrus Sake Glazed Salmon. We're gonna go see Hunger Service. Okay, let's go do that. Are we ready? Yeah, LA is so nice. So nice. I mean, we got to meet him at TwitchCon, but last year, most genuine person ever. Yeah, he's just like a big teddy bear. So good to see you, but thank you for popping in. Because we do miss you guys, all the OGs. And obviously we do recognize you when you come back. You're not forgotten about. Thank you so much, Dust, for the request. Such a fun stream today, guys. Everyone, take care of yourselves wherever you are. Have a wonderful night or day. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Love you all. Yeah, stay hydrated, fam. Bye.